I wanted to be a rock star. I didn't want to be like an Indian rock star. I wanted just to be a rock star. I was homeless, I was broke, but I knew that I was going to have to come up with some kind of identity if I was going to make it. In LA, I really didn't fit in because I wasn't black and I wasn't white. So I was a rock guy, but I really loved black music. I was playing with George Clinton and Bootsy Collins, and everyone in town thought I was like this super funk guitar player. But the truth is that they wouldn't even let me play any funk on their records at all. They'd only let me play rock. But I'd watch them and I'd learn, because those guys could play funk like on a whole nother level. Then I'd get around my white friends, and like I'd play some funk, and then my funk would like blow their funk away, right? So to them, they all thought I was this funk guy. All of a sudden, I'm at the Philadelphia Spectrum, playing in front of 25,000 people with Rod Stewart, ripping a solo on the song Dynamite. I mean, this whole thing was madness to me. I mean, my last band was my high school band.
Steve Silas, bad rock and roller, rock star. You got to have balls, and that's what it takes for rock and roll.
So I'm on a private jet, I'm making tons of money, I have all these women, but pretty soon I don't know who I am anymore. Randy Castillo, he befriended me knowing I was a Native American, and he met me right when I was finishing the Rod Stewart tour. I was going deeper and deeper into alcohol and partying and which girl I could be with and how much money I could make or house I could buy. And he could tell I was losing my mind. He said to me, I'm going to take you to New Mexico. I'm taking John Trudell with me up to Taos. We want to get together and have a little bit of a talk about our departed friend, Randy Castillo.
Mr. Randy Castillo!
Randy Castillo. Randy Castillo from New Mexico. He'd be like, I'm playing his drums, and I remember he always did this thing where he'd hit the kick drum. Boom, boom, boom. Megastar. Megastar. Cover of every magazine.
Mr. Randy Castillo!
I was in Los Angeles and spent my time then going fucking nuts, right? You know, just every actress I could see, every Playboy bunny I could get, every cocktail I could drink. Me and Randy started becoming friends, and he goes, you're pretty fucked up. He goes, I need to take you to Indian country.
Right.
I didn't really ever have heard that phrase. Indian country. He brought me here.
The secret to Indian country is when you're losing your mind, only lose the parts that need losing.
Right.
What it is, I'm telling you.
The last thing you wanted to be when you were my great-great-grandfather was an Indian. Because only bad things were happening to Indians. The Mexicans could chase the Apache into America without permission if they were in pursuit of killing Apache. The Americans could cross into Mexico without permission if they were chasing Apache and killing Apache.
It depended on where you were at in the land. Some places, they would rather be an Indian than a Mexican. And in some places, they'd rather be a Mexican than an Indian. All right? And in some places, they didn't want to be either, but they were. So some of them would call themselves Hispanic.
Randy Castillo was confident and loved being an Indian. Heads up, loud and proud. and representing, it's just such a beautiful man and a great ambassador for the American Indians.
He was just such a great drummer, number one, and he was an amazing showman.
Randy's roots, his Native American roots, his New Mexican roots, made him stand out. He was like a spirit. That's what you sensed coming into the room. If you walked into a room and he was there, and even if you didn't see him, you knew he was there. He was just out there, and he was putting it out there, and he was like a magnet, he knew exactly who he was, exactly who he was going to be. We were really close. When we had a day off, we'd spend it together. We'd go to a nightclub. He rapidly became one of my best friends.
It's a ceremony featuring Mr. Randy Castillo, typical tattoo dancer. Go wild, come on!
Randy had become one of the most influential heavy metal drummers in the world because of his work with Ozzy.
And Ozzy always said he loved working with indigenous people, Hispanic people. It was like he had a connection with them because he felt they had better rhythm. And he always mentioned Randy as being a direct connection to that indigenous energy and that rhythm that he loved.
My brothers.
How are you, brother? Good to see you.
How are you?
It was always in Randy's blood because he'd be an Apache, but he took it a different level and went higher, became one of the best drummers in the world, I know when he saw Benito's drums, he wanted a whole trap set like that, and too bad we didn't get to do that, for him.
He had a style that was obviously influenced by his roots. Kind of Indian drumming thing that was going underneath it. He didn't drum like a normal person. Normal people would just, they just play drums like this. But there was this, it was just this pounding thing that was going through everything.
It was his heartbeat. Randy's playing the heartbeat. That's it. It's Indian country right there.
A lot of that funk, it's from the earth. It's organic, it comes from the war dances. There's something tribal about it.
It was very primal. That I always equate to his roots. He had a grandmother who was a curandera, was a healer, and he was very much in touch with that kind of spiritual thinking and his indigenous ancestry. He transcended all of the civil stuff that you see on a day-to-day. He sort of had this little jump over where he had a path that went back to that, and he was constantly tapping in to that and bringing that in through his music, through the way he played.